Minecraft SMPs, in my opinion, they are what make Minecraft peak. Without them, I wouldn't have met any of my friends today. So, what SMPs have I been in, and how did I act in them? Well, today I will tell you a quick story about each one, to hopefully convince you, Campcraft, to consider me for your SMP. Enjoy the video. So it all started on the first proper SMP I ever joined, Fusion SMP. Now this one doesn't really have a long or interesting story, but it's important I mention it since it's the first one I joined. I was in the SMP for about 5 days, that's right, 5 days. To me, this SMP at the time was everything. Now, I wasn't really making friends or getting the content I wanted for videos, but I did have a few decent chill streams for 5 days. They would consist of me building my base, also known as the first ever Micheltopia. This becomes more important in the second SMP, so, stay tuned for that. I'd built up Micheltopia strong, and it was looking pretty decent for a base, but that didn't last very long, because, less than 20 minutes later, they made me take it down. Yeah, so that wasn't great. While I was taking it down, I had a few new chatters on my stream, Samboy and MMH. These guys were applying to get into this SMP, and they had spotted me live. Now, they were very invested in this idea of a nation in the server, and they said if they got in, they would dedicate themselves to help with Micheltopia. So we all got in a call and waited for them to get in, but sadly, that never happened. The owner just didn't like their, in my opinion, amazing apps, so they never got in. But just as I was about to leave the call, MMH hit me up saying he had found a new, better server that would be starting the following weekend, Geeked SMP. Me, Sam and MMH all applied and literally got accepted in like 10 seconds, so, We also convinced another person who applied to Fusion SMP, Def, to apply to Geek. She got in like 5 seconds. Bro, this SMP's so cool. The 4 of us set out on a mission to build Micheltopia day 1 of the SMP. This was the start of the greatest, weirdest, and definitely the most unpeaceful SMP I have ever been on. Day 1 of Geeked SMP had finally come around, and me, Sam and MMH and Def were all ready. Also, at the last minute we had a new member who was my boy, the one and only Dolphin, aka /99. That's right, Dolphin. I put you in a video. So we all set out and found a place to set up base. We kinda chose the worst place possible as it was near spawn, basically open to anyone, and it was so bad, but it was good for a few days. And honestly, we all start somewhere. It still stands there today. We then decided to move far, far away. So far, we had to use the Nether just to get to spawn, but it worked. We knew where people were, but they didn't know where we were. It was perfect, until Dude K found it, and called me a brokey. So that was the same day I met up with my new friend Zinty. But hold up. Let me give you some context. On the second day of the SMP, me and my best friend, Congested Crew, also known as Big Sue, went to visit Zainty's castle at spawn. We all hung out, and honestly, that was probably one of my favourite moments of the whole server. Probably not for Zainty, since me and Big Sue were just kind of trolling him, but fast forward, me and Big C blew up the castle. Zainty had made a new better one in the sky. I met this absolute legend Tuna, and boom, back to this. I met Zainty at spawn, and well, the idea he had for me was something that should have been the hardest choice of the entire server, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of accepted it immediately. Zainty offered that we blow up Micheltopia, and that he took me in to his empire, and we became a team. Destruction, betrayal, and war, the perfect combination for the best content ever. I couldn't give this opportunity up, so as you can guess, we blew that shit up. It was sad to see, but it's okay. Plus its remains still stand there today. So it was official. I joined Zainty in his mission to destroy the Soviets. Wait, I didn't explain who those guys were. The Soviets. The goddamn Soviet. These were the main organisation of the server, and quite arguably, the were. Sure, it had the best players, the best base, and stacked gear, but it was still hated across the SMP. Me and Zainty despised them. They were weird. Especially the homeless, I mean Theo. Me and Zainty needed to do something, and we couldn't steal or go annoy them like usual. We had to do something, and when Zainty proposed this idea to me, I couldn't resist. We replaced their base with crafting tables. And possibly spawn, but who's counting, right? They were pissed, especially as we did it like multiple times. For some reason, I was always the one getting the most blame, like, come on bro. But the crazy thing is, that wasn't even the craziest prank. After countless back and forths of pranks, they finally stepped up their game and blew up the Sky Castle.
What the f?
Now, this pissed Ainsley off, and while I was offline, he completely blew up their base. Of course, the next day we returned and everything including the castle was back since they just backed it up, but you know, that was basically all of Geeked. It hasn't been active for a while now. Now, if you want me to go more in depth of the Geeked SMP lore and talk about the countless interactions I had with MMH, Arilify, Crimson, Con, Lightning, and more, then comment down below. But for now, that's it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty much the SMPs I've been in, but I know it's barely any, but hey, at least it still made a great video, you know what I mean? And Campcraft, I hope I've showed you my capability and skill, and that maybe you can consider adding me to your SMP roster. Make sure you drop a like and a sub, tell me your favourite part of the video in the comments, and have an amazing rest of your day. Peace.